Well, it's 5 o'clock in the morning and I'm headed to Berthoud, Colorado for the May Rocky Mountain Smiths workshop. This is north of Denver, so I've got to go through Pueblo, Colorado Springs, and Denver. About a 3-hour drive all total, just because there's no traffic on a Sunday morning.
What can I get started for you?
Like a sausage McMuffin with egg meal with milk to drink.
Morning.
Morning.
Nice
Thank
day.
you. You too. Now the drive home with traffic will be even worse. That can sometimes take 4, even 5 hours on a really bad day. So why drive 7 or 8 hours for what usually turns out to be about a 6-hour workshop or demonstration? The simple answer is events like this are one of the best places to get involved with blacksmithing. The people that attend these events know where the classes are, know where the used tools are, and it's a great way to make new friends and reconnect with old friends.
I think a lot of you are already forging, but how many of you have used open or closed dies before? Show of hands. Okay, pretty good. I'm going to start with the closed die on the power hammer, and this has this profile in it. So we're going to start with one of these guys out of 1.25" round bar. So the extra material gets ejected out the top, and you almost always want to plan for a little port for that to escape, or you need to chop that off periodically. With a little quick dunk in the water, this helps to blast some of the steel off the outside. And I could go in for another round at a little bit colder temperature to make sure it's at its final size, but we're basically there. Inch diameter. I'm going to come from my bottom center mark up to just a little past my center punch mark, and just lightly at first set in a little dent, trying to make sure I keep this centered on my little marks as long as possible. Now, if you're paying attention to the geometry of this whole stacked ball shape, this little groove can go all the way up to the top ball. So I don't have to be too careful with my height. I just want to make sure it stays in the middle. And I'm slowly working my way up. I'm going to stay below the halfway point for now. There you go. And I don't need to make this perfect. I want the master ovals to do the final work. Otherwise, I'll get up the parts. But works my way about where the halfway point is. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other one. And then right across the top of that with this size tool on my center punch mark, if I can still find it. Should give us a little cross at this point. Kind of funky looking. There you go. I usually cut the shanks on these on the lathe or something, so they're already pretty short. And so I have to add on something, but you don't need a huge handle on these. You know, these worked great because we cut this off when the die's finished anyway and thread inward. It didn't matter what came down this way. But on this one, we wanted it threadable, just slightly under a ½ inch, so that you can thread it for 3/8 after spinning it once on the lathe. And the guy who initially either for, he made a little lathe tool that holds these balls perfectly centered, and so he can thread them really easily. 2 passes, one to clean it up, get the scale off, one to thread it. thermal blasting water there one more time to make sure the scale comes off if it can. Well, I'm gonna base hard fuse, so hopefully that gets the rest of the scale out.
Well, okay, go. Another thing I really enjoy about coming to these events is the chance to just see other people's shops. How do they set up their workspace, store their tools? What's the relationship between forge, anvil, vise, power hammer if they have a power hammer, all of that kind of stuff. And how do they work in that space? Because there's always something to be learned, even if they have a different selection of equipment than what you have in your own shop. And some tools that you thought you had all figured out, to see how they use them a little bit differently or how they've designed them just a little bit different can really provide some new possibilities for you and open some new doors. So it's really worth coming to these events, visit friends, learn whatever is being demonstrated, get to experience another shop, another way of working. And if you're lucky, you get to go out for lunch and have some nice street tacos, which we did today. So even though it is not convenient for me to come to a demonstration like this, and I often talk myself out of it, I'm always glad when I come to one, and I always enjoy the event, and I always get something out of it. So it's well worth the doing. And if you can find an organization within 5 or 6 hours of you, it might well be worth taking your time to go to the events. Oftentimes you can get a hotel close by, or even camp out in the yard depending on where the event is. I don't know if there would have been camping here, but I'm sure I could have got a room with some of the locals if I'd really wanted to. Now, speaking of shops, this is quite an impressive shop. It's a full-time ornamental iron shop. There are 3 big power hammers, the smallest of which is the same size as my largest hammer. I think I counted at least 15 different anvils, half dozen switch blocks, numerous vices, 3 or 4 platen tables, all sorts of wonderful equipment. But you know what? The only thing I'm really jealous of that I wish I had in my shop that they have here is indoor plumbing and a flush toilet. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this little look at what it's like to come to a blacksmithing workshop. I hope you have time in your day to get out to your shop, make something, have fun, but stay safe, wear your safety glasses. We'll see you for the next video.